Channel 1, Channel 2, 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 Channel 1, Channel 2.
Coming up on Star City News.
It can impair your function. It can impair your ability to drive.
State and local law enforcement say you've been warned. They're cracking down on drug and alcohol impaired drivers.
A leading manufacturer of bump stock says it's going out of business. Lincoln officials react to the news.
And the Huskers' sold-out spring football game could mean big business for Lincoln's economy this weekend.
These stories and more right now on Star City News.
Live from the College of Journalism and Mass Communications, Star City News starts now.
Good evening and welcome into Star City News. I'm Matt Reynoldson.
And I'm Katrina Spurl. An Oklahoma man is charged with possession of marijuana with intent to deliver after Lancaster County Sheriff's Office found 116 pounds of weed hidden under his mattress in his motorhome. 47-year-old Richard White Jr. from Tulsa, Oklahoma was driving on Interstate 80 near mile marker 393 when he was pulled over for various traffic violations. Authorities then found 116.9 pounds of marijuana in 62 vacuum-sealed bags, a total value of $300,000. His wife, Joy White, was cited on the same charges, but was released. Lancaster County Sheriff Terry Wagner said weed busts are becoming more common.
I mean, last week we had 107 pounds, we had well over 2 or 3 stops last week that had over 100 pounds of marijuana in those vehicles. So it's certainly becoming more prevalent.
And yesterday in Fillmore County, the Nebraska State Patrol seized 1,800 pounds of marijuana, among other THC, vape, and wax on Highway 71 near Geneva, about 70 miles southwest of Lincoln. The street value is estimated at $5 million. The driver, Michael Curtis from Arvada, Colorado, was arrested on multiple charges. Lincoln police are cracking down on high driving this Friday. For more on that, we go live to Abby Peterson. Abby?
State Patrol says high driving is always a concern, but this weekend, extra troopers are going to be working overtime to make sure to prevent accidents.
The Lincoln police are investigating an overnight stabbing. Police said 2 men were fighting outside a home near 1600 Prospect just after midnight when one of them was stabbed twice in the leg. The man injured was taken to the hospital but has been released. Charles Watson was arrested for second-degree assault.
The 105th Nebraska legislative session ended yesterday, and overall, Nebraska Governor Pete Ricketts was pleased with lawmakers' collaboration. In fact, 24 bills will be sent to the governor's desk ranging from mental health funding to payday loans. Ricketts, however, said despite public support for property tax relief, senators couldn't agree on any legislation. Other bills passed include LB 998, which will increase funding to help mental health behavior in Nebraska schools. Under this bill, educational service units will hire a social worker who will help train teachers to better connect with students with mental health issues. LB 194, meanwhile, will protect Nebraska borrowers from being exploited by payday lenders. Currently in Nebraska, lenders can charge up to 460% interest rates on payday loans, one of the highest in the nation. Under this bill, payday loans will not exceed $500 and borrowers can cancel the payment by the end of the next day.
Well, it is the end of the road for many stores across the state. According to court documents, all Bon-Ton stores, including Yonkers and Herberger's, will have to close no later than August 31st. The Lincoln Yonkers has been at the Gateway Mall since 1987, but it is unclear when the store will actually close. The Nebraska Department of Labor was notified previously that 2 Yonkers stores in Omaha will close in early June with the loss of 365 jobs.
It's spring game weekend in Lincoln as the Nebraska football team prepares for its annual red-white scrimmage, this time in front of 90,000 fans. According to a 2014 study, each game day in Lincoln produces an economic impact of over $20 million for the city, and perhaps no industry benefits more than the Lincoln hotel business.
I think that the last few years, the city of Lincoln state of Nebraska has been a little down. Last year for the Ohio State game, we were about 60% on Saturday night of the Ohio State game, which is unheard of. The success of Nebraska football is really, really important during the fall to all the hotels in Lincoln.
Terwilliger says the Graduate and other hotels will benefit from an influx of out-of-towners in the city for the weekend. But restaurants and bars will also see a huge bump in business. He says most people will stay Friday night with the 11 a.m. kickoff, and many will just complete the weekend trip with a Saturday night stay as well. The first spring game of the Scott Frost era at Nebraska is expected to draw the first full-capacity crowd in Husker spring game history. While Husker fans will show up rain or shine, the Red-Clad would certainly prefer a dry day. Our own meteorologist Dylan Steinkruger has a first look at your forecast. Dylan?
Well, the spring game may be just around the corner, but recently it hasn't been feeling very much like spring. It has been frigid throughout much of this week and the last. I'll have more coming up in a bit on whether or not we will see some more springtime temperatures for this weekend and what we can expect coming up as we head into next week. I'll have that coming up in more just a bit.
All right, thank you so much, Dylan. Well, coming up next, we will give you an update on a Southwest airline engine explosion that happened yesterday.
And Lincoln will be seeing a new Uber-like taxi service. That and more when we come back.
Get your ice cream fix today from the UNL Dairy Store. The UNL Dairy Store features a great variety of flavors and options and has offered their delicious treats with the University of Nebraska-Lincoln since 1917. The store also features special happy hour prices Monday through Friday. Stop in at the UNL Dairy Store today and enjoy some delicious handmade ice cream. You owe it to yourself.
Searching for a college can be challenging. There's so many things to look for. Dorms, campus involvement, classes, and facilities all play a factor. So why not take a campus visit? At UNL, you can sign up for a campus visit Monday through Friday in the morning or the afternoon. All visits include a welcome session, walking campus tour, and an academic appointment with a specific major. We aim to provide the ultimate student experience with every visit, so sign up for your campus visit today.
We'll see you soon!
Visit admissions.unl.edu for information on how to sign up.
For a touch of the outdoors, come on down to the UNL Outdoor Adventure Center and Bike Shop. Come enjoy a climb on our fun indoor rock wall. Visit the bike shop for bike rentals and repairs. On top of that, the Outdoor Adventure Center also offers many other outdoor activities and trips throughout the year, such as camping, hiking, and canoeing. The Outdoor Adventure Center is located on the beautiful UNL campus with friendly and knowledgeable staff who are ready to help. For more information, go to the Outdoor Adventure Center website or call them at 402-472-4777.
Ever have trouble traversing the busy streets and sidewalks of Lincoln? The University of Nebraska contracts with StarTran to prevent those transportation headaches. The East, City, and Innovation campuses are all connected through routes that run Monday through Friday during the fall and spring semesters. While low prices are available for all passengers, students, faculty, and staff receive additional deals. All students actually receive an annual bus pass through their student fees. Cut traffic out of your day and experience these convenient services.
The largest manufacturer of bump stocks released that it will not be selling any more bump stocks starting in May. Star City's Marjani Knighton has more. Marjani?
That's right, guys. A factory in Texas did make the decision to stop the sale of bump stocks and, in addition to, shutting down their website. The ban on bump stocks has been one of the most talked about topics throughout the country since the Las Vegas mass shooting, which is known as the deadliest shooting in history. Slide Fire Solutions, located in Morin, Texas, is the inventor and the largest manufacturer of bump stocks. On Wednesday, they announced on its website that it will stop selling bump stocks starting next month. According to sources, Slide Fire received a lot of backlash from the public after over a dozen rifles were found with bump stocks in the Las Vegas shooting.
A company like that took a calculated risk.
Lincoln City Council member Larry Ann Gaylor-Baird lost her loved one at 17 to gun violence. She thinks this big gun company is taking necessary steps to protect the public.
In the wrong hands, A gun that can fire at the rate of a machine gun can cause mass destruction, complete bloodbaths like we've seen in Las Vegas. And I don't think anyone wants those kinds of guns, that kind of weaponry of war, to be in the hands of civilians.
Slide Fire Solutions says it will process and ship the last orders taken before May 20th. I'm Marjani Nayan reporting.
Thank you, Marjani. This Saturday, Lincoln Police will hold a gun amnesty day. If you have unwanted guns or ammunition, you can safely get rid of them, no questions asked. LPD asks that if you bring things to turn in, you leave them in your trunk or back seat and they will come pick it up. You can drop off any items at the Lincoln Police Station at 27th and Holdridge this Saturday from 10 a.m. until noon.
Uber and Lyft are popular transportation service companies in the Lincoln and Omaha area, and soon they will welcome a new provider, Z-Trip. Like Uber and Lyft, you can call for rides anytime and anywhere on Z-Trip. The service drivers will operate company cabs, unlike Uber and Lyft, which commonly use the driver's personal vehicle. In Nebraska, Z-Trip will be regulated like a cab company. The company is expected to roll out Z-Trip within the next 30 days.
On Tuesday, former First Lady and wife of President George H.W. Bush, Barbara Bush, passed away at the age of 92. All across the country and even here in Lincoln, flags were at the half-staff in honor of the First Lady. We'll take a look here at the statement made by her husband. I always knew Barbara was the most beloved woman in the world, and in fact, I used to tease her that I had a complex about that fact. But the truth is the outpouring of love and friendship being directed at the enforcer is lifting us all up. We have faith she is in heaven, and we know life will go on as she would have it. So cross the bushes off your worry list.
The Federal Aviation Administration is ordering aircraft inspections on Boeing 737s after an engine explosion killed a woman on a Southwest flight this week. The FAA ordered ultrasound inspections on 737 engine blades after Tuesday's mid-air explosion. Southwest Flight 1380 was cruising at 500 miles per hour when disaster struck. Investigators believe an engine fan blade snapped, causing debris to strike a passenger inside the plane and partially suck her out of the window. Here's the control tower conversation with the plane's pilot after she made an emergency landing in Philadelphia.
Okay, could you have the medical meet us there on the runway as well? We've got injured passengers.
Injured passengers, okay. And is your airplane physically on fire?
No, it's not on fire, but part of it's missing. They said there was a hole and someone went out.
I'm sorry, you said there was a hole and somebody went out? Southwest 1380, it doesn't matter. We'll work it out there. So the airport's just off to your right. Report it in sight, please.
A new health warning is out this week on packaged and liquid caffeine supplements. They can kill in high doses, and the Food and Drug Administration is now acting to make sure this doesn't happen. Here's Rid Binion with today's Health Minute.
The Food and Drug Administration is cracking down on highly concentrated caffeine products, working to have them removed from store shelves and warning consumers to stay away. They say powdered and liquid dietary supplements with concentrated amounts of caffeine are a threat to public health and have already been linked to 2 deaths in the U.S. The FDA says some of these products can contain as much as 3,200 milligrams of caffeine, the equivalent of as much as 28 cups of coffee.
When they take what they think is a dose, it's 10, 15, 20 times what they're expecting.
In low doses, caffeine can help you get a jump start on your day, but too much caffeine can ruin it, causing upset stomach, irritability, sleepless nights, and heart palpitations. And less than 2 tablespoons of some types of powdered pure caffeine can kill. Plus, even though caffeine may help boost weight loss, the Mayo Clinic says higher doses of caffeine won't lead to better results. For today's Health Minute, I'm Reed Binion.
Up next, our meteorologist Dylan Steinkroger will give you the latest forecast for the week. You're watching Star City News.
The Nebraska Repertory Theater creates innovative theatrical experiences to ignite the imagination, challenge the heart, promote an inclusive community, and inspire the next generation of theater artists. Shows include the 2004 Tony Award-winning musical Avenue Q, a showcase of future rep actors, directors, and designers. Join us for the first annual Reps Rising Stars. And finally, an adaptation of William Golding's classic novel, The Lord of the Flies. For more information and tickets to upcoming shows, visit www.nebraskarep.org.
The Cat House is a local no-kill cat shelter and adoption center where volunteers pledge to care for and provide a loving home to hundreds of cats every day. The cats are housed in spacious rooms where visitors can interact and play with the cats. Donating to the Cat House provides medical care and helps find these cats a forever home. Located on the corner of 37th and O Street, visit the Cat House today to donate or adopt.
Huskers Helping Huskers Pantry Plus is an on-campus pantry at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, offered to students in need. This is a resource for students who struggle with food or shelter insecurity, providing food, hygiene, and school supplies. Located on the 3rd level of the Student Union, all you need to access the pantry is your student in card. Want more information on donations or using the pantry? Please visit our website or come on up and see us.
People are tired of listening to the same old sports shows. We'll be tired no longer and tune into the Second String on KRNU2. Join hosts Alex Fernando.
Listen, the Big Ten will not have a team in the playoffs.
And Nate Muehlbach.
Don't know why we're discussing this. The Warriors are the best basketball team of all time.
As we bring you all the info and news from around the sporting world. So tune into the Second String, Mondays at 7, only on KRNU2.
Well, after a chilly start to our week and past weekend, we've actually rebounded pretty nicely today here in Lincoln. 57 degrees right now. Really not a cloud in the sky. It has been pretty nice down here at the surface. Winds are out of the west at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. That has been bringing in some cold and some dry air. That dry air has been contributing to some of the reduction in cloud cover that we've been seeing over the past couple hours. Additionally, we were actually pretty chilly this morning. Now, you notice this, the record low for April 19th is 25 degrees, set back in 2013. Well, I'll tell you what, that is not the record anymore. Today, 24 here in Lincoln. It was absolutely frigid if you went outside this morning, and it has been that way over the past couple days. Cold. It has just been a cold region and a cold set of temperatures that we've had over the past week, and that, unfortunately, is going to continue for at least the next couple of nights, but there is some relief in sight as we head into the next week. Now, across the country right now, where there's a big high-pressure system that has set in across much of the Great Plains right now, and that's contributing to the lack of cloud cover that we've been seeing across the region. Now, you see that low-pressure system that is pushed all the way down into the Atlantic right now. That's what brought us our precipitation past the past couple of nights. Some of the snow and kind of mist and mess of snow, especially if you're outside last night, that you probably saw in kind of association with that low pressure system and cold front as it pushed across the state. Now, as we look across the region right now, you can see in association with that high pressure system, not a lot of cloud cover in the Lincoln area, a little bit of cloud cover getting kicked off over the Rocky Mountains right now, some high elevation cloud cover kind of moving across the region, but not a whole lot affecting us here. You just see a little bit of what looks like cloud cover across north central Iowa into south central Minnesota. That's actually snow that was dumped out over that system that moved through this past weekend, and you can see it kind of moves up to the north as we move throughout the day. That's because warm temperatures at the surface are actually melting that snow. So kind of an interesting picture on satellite, but certainly here in Lincoln, not dealing with a lot of cloud cover, and that has led to some warmer temperatures basically across the entirety of the state. 54 up in Valentine right now, 54 in Alliance, even warmer up in Chadron right now at 61. A little bit cooler as you head back to the northeastern portion of the state, 52 in Sioux City, but it gets warmer down in Concordia, Kansas, 60 degrees right now. So certainly a pretty wide spread of temperatures across the state, but overall much of an improvement over what we've seen since this past weekend. Now, as we head into tonight, it will cool down once again, 32 degrees. Winds will shift to the southeast at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. That should start to bring in some warmer air and should start to kind of boost the temperatures that we'll see as we head into tomorrow, where we will climb and we should eclipse 60 degrees. So it should be a very nice day. Winds will remain out of the southeast and continue to bring in that warm air. We shouldn't see much for cloud cover, and it should continue to stay sunny in association with that high pressure system that kind of attaches itself to this region. Now, the big story right now is the spring game coming up this weekend, where Nebraska will hopefully be able to win a game. It should win a game. That's the one thing I can forecast and promise, is that Nebraska will win the game tomorrow. What I can't tell you for sure is whether or not we'll have precipitation. Right now it looks like it should actually hold off by 11 a.m. Kickoff is at 11 a.m. I think that precipitation that we'll see should end as we head into the earlier part of the morning. The bad news is temperatures are going to be kind of on the cool side. Cloud cover will remain as we head throughout the day. Temperatures will get into the mid-50s, but really it's not going to be those pleasant temperatures that we've seen over the past over the past few days. But it won't be chilly as it could be. Now, as we do look through the rest of the weekend, temperatures are going to warm up a little bit in comparison to what we've seen in the past couple weeks. Temperatures actually should be in the mid-60s, at least for the greater portion of next week. So hopefully some nicer weather for the spring game. The rain should hopefully hold off, and things look like we might be on the upside. Maybe spring is finally here.
Well, it looks like we'll get actually nice weather for the spring game. A lot of spring games around the country and around the Big Ten canceled last week, so finally some nice weather tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully so.
Looking forward to it.
Yep,
Thanks,
hope
Dylan.
to see both of you at the spring game.
Absolutely.
Well, coming up on Star City Sports, Danny Burke previews the spring game. That and more when we come back.
Located at Henslick Hall is UNL's Pixel Lab. At the Pixel Lab, UNL students and faculty can take advantage of professional-grade print services. For major projects, normal printers simply will not do. They lack the sizes, materials, and resources the Pixel Lab can provide. Simply save your project as a PDF and head over to Henslick Hall. You're important, and so is your work. Open weekdays from 8 a.m. to 5 o'clock, the Pixel Lab team is staffed with helpful employees ready to assist you. For your next project, be sure to stop by the Pixel Lab.
For over 28 years, the Lincoln Children's Museum has been creating playtime for thousands of kids and their families. Children can create, discover, and learn through the power of play. The Lincoln Children's Museum also offers several programs and camps throughout the year. Located in the heart of downtown on P Street. Come have fun at the Lincoln Children's Museum.
Welcome to Star City Sports. I'm Danny Burke. We are less than 2 days away until history is made at Memorial Stadium with a sold-out crowd of 90,000 people for the spring game. The red and white teams are set, and the coaches are just as excited as the players to run out onto that turf.
With just a couple days remaining until the big day, offensive coordinator Troy Walters and defensive coordinator Eric Chenander explain how they structured their teams for the spring game.
50-50. We've got two quarterbacks on each squad, and so they'll go 50-50. They'll all get a lot of action, a lot of work, and we'll evaluate them afterwards.
The position coaches kind of split them up fairly evenly on defense. Now with some of the positions, we wanted to see some guys operate together. So it may be a little bit, maybe not as even at a couple positions, but we're pretty even. We just want to see guys play.
With such a big game looming, it offers opportunity for players to stand out.
Well, I think you're gonna learn, who can operate in that environment. Who's the guys that when the lights turn on, this is a beautiful game, right? You can talk all the stuff you want pre-game. You can talk all you want in practice, but when the lights turn on, we're all going to find out. And that's what I want to do tomorrow. I want to find out, or on Saturday, who's the real guys.
Even though they won't be putting on the pads and helmet themselves, these coaches can hardly wait for the chance to run out on the field.
Well, I'm not playing, but the coach there is special. It's special. The history, tradition of this stadium, all the great players and coaches that have played in that stadium. It's going to be a thrill. It's going to be, I don't know if night before if I'm going to be able to get much sleep.
I'm telling you, they said, how many tickets do you need? I said, how many can I get? Because I got family coming. I got people flying in from Arizona. I got people coming from Illinois. There's probably nobody happier than me to run out there on that field and experience this crowd and this stadium. I might be in shock a little bit.
Well, it was another shortcoming for the Husker baseball team as they lost 8-7 at home against Omaha Wednesday night. This is the second consecutive loss for the Big Red as they narrowly lost at home on Tuesday against Kansas State 4-3. However, as for last night, this is the first time Nebraska has lost to the Mavericks since 1997. Omaha never trailed in this one, but Luke Roscom tied it up in the bottom of the first with this two-run shot to right center. What a great hit right there. But the Mavericks would reclaim the lead, and whenever it looked like the Huskers were in prime position to come back, defensive plays like this one from Thomas de Bonville would occur. This one popped into foul left territory, coming all the way over from left field to make a great sliding catch right there. However, the Huskers did end up rallying in the seventh with the bases loaded. Angelo Altavilla knocks one into left to give Nebraska some life. You see that rip right there between short and third to bring in 2 runs to narrow that lead. However, it would not be enough to overcome the Mavericks. And the Big Red, with a 16-19 record, will travel to Piscataway, New Jersey this weekend to battle the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers.
just like that.
And now onto the mat, where the Nebraska women's gymnastics team is set to compete at the 2018 National Collegiate Gymnastics Championship Semifinal 1. This will happen tomorrow at 12 p.m. in St. Louis, Missouri. The Huskers qualified for the semifinals after finishing second at the NCAA Raleigh Regional with their best score, posting a score of 197.525. The top 3 teams from each semifinal will advance to the Super 6 on April 21st at 6 p.m. And moving on to other postseason play, but now on the hardwood, where once again the playoffs produced some exciting games last night. Out in Cleveland, after an embarrassing first game loss, the Cavs bounced back last night against the Indiana Pacers. LeBron James, the King, would be the star of the show with an astounding double-double with 46 points and 12 rebounds. Gets that and one right there to increase the Cavs' lead. Now here in the second quarter, doing it on both ends, gets the steal. The huge slam right here. Look where he takes off right from the free throw line. Slams it down one-handed. The Pacers would have a chance to tie it up. Darren Collison gets the 3, but who else other than LeBron James snags the rebound to seal the deal? The Cavs tie up the series. Game 3 will be held on Friday.
What happened to the other 2 games in the playoffs?
Well, the potential Rookie of the Year, Donovan Mitchell, led the Jazz to beat the Thunder, and then the Rockets got another victory over the Timberwolves.
So NBA playoffs continuing this weekend, and as we've mentioned, spring football into this weekend. The 2 quarterbacks in the heat of the battle are on the red team. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. They're splitting up the quarterbacks, 2 on the red, 2 on the white, so it should be an interesting battle to see who might, prosper over the other.
Yeah, Tristan Gebbia, Adrian Martinez, certainly in the thick of that quarterback battle. Thanks so much, Danny.
All right, when we come back, we will stay on the topic of the Nebraska spring game as a big fan gets a surprise. Stay tuned.
Explore Morrill Hall, located on the UNL campus.
Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? Visit the Education Abroad office or go online to find out more information. Education Abroad. Go big, go abroad.
Welcome back to Star City News. Well, 420 is tomorrow, which is a national and international marijuana holiday in legal states and countries. But Nebraska State Patrol is cracking down on high driving. Star City's Abby Peterson has more from earlier in the show.
If you're thinking of driving while high, police say you should reconsider.
When you smoke cannabis, it can impair your function. It can impair your ability to drive.
Through the weekend, Nebraska State Patrol will be working overtime for the unofficial marijuana holiday, 420, thanks to a $4,200 grant from the Nebraska Highway Safety Office. We talked to one person who asked not to be named, and they say they do it all the time. How often do you drive high, do you think? Honestly.
Probably every day. Every day.
People don't realize that you can be arrested, you can lose your license when you're driving impaired or under the influence of some of these drugs.
Officers will be looking for signs of drug impairment in a special enforcement from Friday to Sunday. They're calling it Drive High, Kiss Your License Goodbye. In the 2013-2014 roadside survey of alcohol and drug use by drivers, they found that nearly 1 in 4 drivers tested positive for at least one drug that could potentially affect safe driving skills.
It's easy. It's just like I'm sober, I guess. When you're drunk, your mind's all over the place. Being high, like I said, I focus more than being drunk.
Lincoln police made more than 50 arrests for drugged driving last year.
All right, thank you so much, Abby. Well, a Nebraska fan's reaction of him getting spring game tickets is going viral.
That's right. His girlfriend actually gave him the news by making him guess based on clues given, such as corn, sports, and spring.
A lot of really hype around this spring game, and we'll take a look at his reaction here as he seems to be very excited about this.
I knew it! Is it the spring football game for the Nebraska Cornhuskers and my grandparents live there?
We're going.
No, we're not!
Yeah, we are.
No! How do you, what, no! No way! Are you serious? Are you serious?
Yes, we're going next weekend.
Oh my God!
Well, that is all the time we have today. For Star City News, I'm Matt Reynoldsson.
And I'm Katrina Spurl. Thanks for watching.